Hey folks, how's it going? Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all having a great, wonderful Friday. Recipe day today. So we've got ourselves pulled pork, brioche buns to do. So we're going to do a brioche, and in addition, we're actually going to do a little mix to go with it. I can't remember the name now. It'll come back to me in a second. So we're going to have the brioche, which we're going to make, and I'm going to show you how to make that. In addition, we're also going to do the pulled pork. Now, the pulled pork is already in the oven because it's going to take about 4 to 5 hours to cook. So I had to put it on about 2-3 hours ago, so it's got plenty of time to catch up, so it's nice and tender. In addition, excuse me, we're going to do ourselves a green chili coleslaw as well to go with it as well. So, and that's pretty much it. So I'm going to show you these 3 beautiful elements to go with it. So the brioche, the coleslaw, and obviously the pulled pork. Now I wanted to do a homemade barbecue sauce. Now the homemade barbecue sauce will be on my recipe, but unfortunately I don't have like half the ingredients. So I've got some other barbecue sauce I'm going to use up, but if you want to make your own homemade barbecue sauce, that will be on my recipe tonight. So don't worry, that will be slotted in right there. I'm going to run you through what we did with the pork, because the pork is already in the oven. It's cooking away. So basically, we had the pork shoulder. So what I did this morning, had a nice deep oven tray, and I'll show you. I'll get it out later on once it's like finished cooking. And I basically did a nice little rub and marinade. And I got a lot of spices here, which we put on, and I'll put onto the recipe list. So I used 2 cloves of garlic that I crushed down, took the skins off, put them in there. Then we made a rub. So I did 2 teaspoons of cumin, 2 teaspoons of onion powder, 2 teaspoons of oregano, bay leaf I just chucked in there, that's fine. 4 teaspoons of paprika, 2 teaspoons of black pepper, 2 pinches of salt, and also 2 teaspoons of garlic powder. So we gave that a rub over the pork shoulder. We popped it in, put the water up about 3/4 of the way up in the tray. Parchment foil. It's on 180 Celsius, 350 Fahrenheit, and that's just been cooking down so far since 7 o'clock this morning. So it's been going for about nearly 3 hours. So it's going to need another 2 or 3 hours. So by the time we've done everything else, it should be all ready. So that's on the go. So that's the only thing you have missed this morning. So the next thing we want to kind of do is basically start that brioche. So the tangzong mixture, or the paste that we're going to be making. We're going to start that off first. So we're going to need 80 ml of milk and 30 grams of flour in a small pan. We're going to heat it up, and basically until it's like a smooth paste. And then we're going to let that cool that down, and then put that into the mix and start making our brioche mix. So 90 ml of milk, right? 30 grams. And we pretty much want to whisk this together until it's into a nice little paste. Medium heat. It's not going to take very long to kind of cook this out. So let me get a little whisk. Where's my little whisk gone? Probably better off with a different thing like a whisk. More like a little spatula might be good. Let me get my little spatula. Where is it? So there we go. That's better. So it's pretty much looking like a nice little smooth like kind of paste now. I'm going to make sure we just cook this out a little bit. There is our tangzong paste. And if you're like, what's tangzong, chef? So if you ever made Japanese milk bread, pretty sure it's Japanese, was it Chinese? I had a wiki of it this morning. I was just like, I still don't quite get it. Both Japanese and Chinese use tangzong. So basically, it's the starter mix for making bread. And what it's going to do is going to add some lightness, some softness to the brioche. And you can add this to any bread. You can change any bread recipe and add this to it. So I was doing a lot of research on it last night, and I was like, ooh, let's try this. So we're going to add this to our brioche. And I'm really interested to see how this turns out. So very intrigued how this is going to work. So we're going to try it. If it don't work, I'll put a different recipe on for tonight. But honestly, I like to trial and error. Even if it's recipe day, why not? So we've got a hook attachment here. We're also going to weigh out the other ingredients first before we start doing anything else. So I also need to heat up the milk as well with the yeast and the sugar. So the milk, we want to make sure we heat up to 95 Fahrenheit or 35 Celsius. So that's super, super important. So yeah, 125 ml of milk, right? And 3 teaspoons of yeast. Okay, so we'll heat up the milk first before we do anything else. Okay, if we don't overheat it. As for the tangzong paste, we're going to pop that straight into the mixing bowl. So that can go in there, ready to go. Too hot, so I'm going to let that just chill its boots for a sec. Just going to add the sugar first though. 60 grams, 60 grams. Right, so we want 3. So this is cooled down already. It's warm, but it's not like hot, so which is great. So 2. pretty much the last one there. There we go, 3. Perfect. Give this a little mix up. Flour, salt, then we're gonna add that. Then we're gonna add the eggs, and then let it kind of work for about 5-10 minutes until smooth. Then we're gonna slowly start adding the butter. And we're gonna need 1 stick of butter, which is 114 grams. How much flour do we want? 500 grams, I believe. 3 eggs, 2 pinches of salt, and we should be good. There's our paste. We're gonna add our flour. Let's turn that on to a low speed. And then we're gonna add our milky, yeasty mix straight into here as well. Because I jumped ahead of the game, I don't want cold eggs going in here. Why? Because then it will warm up my yeast mix and then it won't proof. So I got room temperature eggs. So these have been out for an hour. They feel pretty good. So we're gonna add these one at a time to the mix. I'm gonna speed this up a little bit more. Achoo! Oh, there we go. Sorry. Oh, sorry, chat. I'm in one of those moods again today. It's just not going to end well. I've got a stick of butter, which we're going to add to this in a second. In about a couple of minutes, once this is like smoothed out, I'm just going to add little by little while it's mixing up. I'm going to start adding the butter. So a whole stick of butter, 114 grams. Bloop. I'm just going to pick up the speed in a second. Just going to add some stickiness to it. Well, stickiness, but it's going to kind of pretty much help enrichen it. Chat. Don't even say anything. Ready. Look at that cheeky dough right there. Oh, yes. Right, so I'm going to take this out. Just a little touch of flour, and we're going to shape it. It's just pretty much there we go. Perfect. That little plump little delight. It's in there. So I'm going to let that proof. I'm just going to use some of this flour. So only need a little very light dusting over the top. Not much. Not in your mouth as well. So let's grab some cling film. We'll cling it up. And let that proof for about an hour or 2 until we're good to go. Coleslaw. So I'm going to get on with the coleslaw next, right? So the next thing for the coleslaw, we're going to need about half a cabbage. Because I'm going to be making quite a bit for everyone. So half a cabbage, about 3 or 4 spring onions, 3 or 4 carrots. And we're going to get that together. So I'm not actually going to use sliced onions as a normal coleslaw. I'm actually using spring onions. So a little bit of a twist and turn in that. And then obviously the green, hatch green chili we're going to put in there. So let's peel this down. So we've got 4 little carrots. If you've got to say good sized carrots, let's probably say 3 good medium sized carrots would be good. So we're going to peel these down and then we're going to either julienne them, or actually I might put them on the Japanese mandolin. But either cut it by hand or through the Japanese mandolin is up to you. I'm going to cut this down. I'm going to wash these as well. So we're just going to cut open these spring onions just to make sure we get all the soil and the dirt out of it. And then we're going to julienne them down. Sorry. Cut this down. I didn't quite work out my measurements there, but it's okay. Still going to go in. Either way about it. So we're going to take the bottom of the cabbage off. Got a little bit of grayness here, that's okay, or a little bit of it where it's dried up, so we're going to take that off. I'm going to use about half a cabbage here, will be plenty. If you've got a larger cabbage, maybe you want to do maybe a quarter. It's entirely up to you, but I think like a small head of cabbage, half will be plenty. Also, you will find the root here. You don't really want to use the root. Well, you can if you want, but it's going to be kind of tough. So what we're going to do is use the knife just to kind of cut out that root. Just take it away, and then we're just going to chiffonade this down. Right, so chiffonade this cabbage down. I'm going to add that to the carrots and the spring onions. Now, we're not going to salt it or cure it, but we are going to season it, right? And we're going to get some excess moisture drawing out of the vegetables. So when we come to mix the mayonnaise at the end, I'm going to drain it off with some kitchen roll, and then we're just going to pretty much mix it up with the mayonnaise. I'm probably going to shape them next, and then let them proof, and then do the mayonnaise, and then, yeah, that probably makes more sense. So, because we're not making the barbecue sauce today, as much as I would love to, it will be in my recipe, and it's really easy to make. So you basically reduce Coca-Cola down by half, then you add the rest of the ingredients, cook it down on a low heat, pretty much until you get a nice good consistency for a barbecue sauce. And if you want like kind of smokiness to it, you could even add like smoked paprika or some kind of smoky essence if you want to it. Absolutely. Boop. Let's get this out. I'm going to go for about roughly 80 gram kind of buns. 70. There we go. So they don't have to be like super accurate. It's just as long as they're roughly around 80, you should be good. Perfect. So these all should be about 85. So roughly 85 then, and you should get about 12. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Perfect. Shape these buns up. If you can do 2 hands, you can always try 1. But if you can do 2 hands like myself, that's fine. Probably going to be better off doing it. There we go. So I'm going to push it down just a smidge, so when it rises, you're going to have more of an oval bun rather than a tall bun. So if you had some kind of container to put over the top, so say for example something like this, right, would actually be perfect. So we're just going to let them proof, do their work for about an hour until they've pretty much doubled in size. Watch your fingers when you open this because the steam's going to just come out. Oh, absolutely. Chat, this is good to go. This is definitely good to go. Ready to go. Beautiful. Let me take an Instagram of this. We're going to take it out. The liquor, we could probably reduce the liquor. It's going to get very hot though in here if we do reduce it. And we can put it into the barbecue sauce. Very gently. A brush like this is actually ideal for what we want here. Mayonnaise. 2 egg yolk. Excellent. No puns, I promise. 2 teaspoons of mustard, sorry. About a teaspoon of lemon juice. Probably going to need some vinegar as well. So we've got some distilled vinegar there. You can use cider vinegar, you know, whichever you prefer. That's absolutely fine. Right, there we go. Oh, baby. Now, I wish I had put them separately. So, I'd probably say they might need longer chat, with all honesty. But, yeah. I'm going to give them another 5 minutes. They're about there. But, yeah. I wish I'd separated them and done 6 instead of trying to squeeze them on. But it's okay. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. It'll be fine. You ready for this, chat? It's that butter basting time. Oh yeah. That's right. We're going to need some oil. I'm going to go with veggie oil, or actually canola oil. I tell a lie. Whichever oil you want to emulsify your mayonnaise, that's fine. So, without making too much of a mess. We're going to add it little by little. If you had like a big blender and it can spin and you can add as it's spinning, that would be probably recommended. But this still works. This is absolutely fine. You just need to add little by little, blend it, add a bit more, you know, so on and so forth. So there they are. That's better, chat. That's what I was after. Those delightful buns right there. That's what we were after. Right, I'll show you how tender this pork is. So this is the fat bit on top. Which, you know, we can incorporate some of that. Oof, still very hot, chat. And yeah, there's the bone. I can feel it. Oh, is there a bone? I don't know. I thought there was a bone in here. We're pretty much just going to pull this apart. This is how tender this pork is. Maybe I could have done with another. Just look at it. Look at it, chat. 5 hours of cooking. And it's just pure softness. Barbecue sauce. It's actually very, very nice. Very nice indeed. So we're going to have a good glug of that in there. I'm going to get a glove. I'm going to mix it up. So don't want to go too heavy on it, but we're going to have a good amount in there. And you can use like whatever you want. As I said, if I'm going to be making my own, the recipe will be on the website tonight. Good amount of pinch of salt in there. But 2 pinches, don't go too crazy with it. You don't want it too salty. Right, so in goes the mayonnaise. And also we do need to add the hatch green chili as well. So I'm trying to use this up little by little here and there. So I'm going to go for 2. I'm going to have a little taste in a second. We'll see how hot that is. I'm just going to go for another spoonful in there. That'll do. Right, there we go. Easy. I don't want to like kind of dent it or break it. Chat, you ready for this? This is an important moment. Oh my goodness me. Look at those little brioche buns right there, chat. Do you want to have a reference of how soft and bouncy they are? Oh my goodness me. Perfect. Nicely toasted, nice and light. Look at those beautiful buns, right? Oh, she's so good. Oh my goodness me. Chef, is that a portion? Well, I guess we could call that a portion, right? Coleslaw. But my goodness me. Started cooking the pork off stream this morning about 7 o'clock, so it was in for 5 hours. Came out at 12:30, about an hour and a half ago. And I cooked it down with 4 teaspoons of paprika, 2 teaspoons of black pepper, 2 teaspoons of onion powder, 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, 2 teaspoons of cumin, 2 teaspoons of dried oregano, and also one bay leaf in there, and 2 crushed cloves of garlic. Filled it up with water about 3/4 of the way up. Parchment foil in the oven, 180 Celsius, 350 Fahrenheit for about 5 to 5.5 hours. So let it cool down, took it out. You can reduce the liquor and put it in there. I didn't today, but you can do. And then we pretty much pulled the pork down, added our own barbecue sauce. Now I have got my own recipe. We didn't do it today because I ran out of the ingredients, but that will be on the website tonight with the Coca-Cola I use in there. Garlic powder, onion powder, ketchup, brown sauce, soft brown sugar, sorry. What else is in there? Lots of all the other flavors. I'll pull it up later on tonight. And then as for the brioche buns, we did like a little starter for it. So we did a tangzhong, which is basically when you pretty much make like milk bread. It's a starter which will help, and you can add this to any kind of bread, and it'll help a nice little softness to it. So we pretty much did 90 ml of milk or 30 grams of flour to make a nice little paste. After we made the paste, I popped that into the mixing bowl. Then we also had ourselves, how much was it? 125 ml of milk, yeah, 3 teaspoons of yeast and 60 grams of sugar. We also heated the milk up before adding the yeast to about 35 Celsius or 95 Fahrenheit. Once that's dissolved, we added that to the mix, and we added 500 grams of flour. We also had 2 pinches of salt, and then we added 3 eggs. Let that beat up for a bit until it mixed together. Then we started adding the butter after it started to smooth out, little by little, and then just beat that for another 5-10 minutes until nice and smooth. Took it out, shaped it in a bowl, little dust of flour, cover. Wait until it was doubled in size, knocked it back, shaped them to about 80 grams or 85 grams per bun. You should get about 12. Let them rest, double in size again, and then in the oven on 180 Celsius, 350 Fahrenheit for 15 to 20 minutes to golden brown and perfection. And when they come out, a little brush of butter as well, just to finish them off. Beautiful. And as for the coleslaw, very simple. Instead of having onions, we actually used spring onions or scallions, and we used about 3 or 4 of the spring onions, 3 or 4 carrots depending on the size, peeled, and then cut down on the Japanese mandolin with a cutter, or you can cut them by hand into a nice little fine julienne. And then about half a white cabbage or a quarter of a large white cabbage. shredded and chiffonaded down. Added a pinch of salt. We didn't cure it, but just a bit of seasoning. In the fridge for an hour. Took it out. I was going to drain it off, but not a lot of moisture came out, so we just mixed it straight up. But if you want to like squeeze it out a little bit, you can do. And we made the homemade mayonnaise, which was 2 egg yolks, 2 teaspoons of mustard, 1 tablespoon of vinegar, a little squeeze of teaspoon of lemon juice, and then obviously the oil and salt and pepper salt and pepper seasoning, and an oil for emulsifying. So we mixed that with the coleslaw afterwards, and that's pretty much it. But oh yeah, also when we did the brioches, egg wash before they go in the oven, and then come out, and then butter on top. So just look how soft those brioche buns are, chat. They're just like, goodness me, right? Oh yeah. Oh wow. Those brioche buns have turned out. Goodness me. Yes. The saltiness. I feel like I still could do with more green hatch green chili, but that's super hot. So, but that's okay. I'm probably going to hit one in a minute. Have a great rest of your week. Stay safe, happy, healthy, and stay awesome. Much love, amigos. I'll see you soon. Bye for now, my friends.